There he is. Oh my
You.
god.
It was your. And I went, oh, that was horrendous. No, wait. I got this. This is how we start the podcast. Ready? You ready? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that is. Do you want to
Spider-Man.
give some context to that? Or?
Well, there is a little old TikToky tok that's been circulating over the last week of Jack Quad,
AKA Huey.
Huey from The Boys, dressed as Web Weaver, throwing that on a song on top when he's doing a lovely little bit. Honestly, I love that guy. He's what a man. Oh, do you know what? He's the type of guy that I think would absolutely thrive on a podcast like this. Jack, come on, get yourself on. Don't be here.
Come on in,
Come
mate.
on, mate.
Come and chat to us.
Come and chat to us.
Let's have a chin wag.
Let's have a chin wag with me, Forrest, and Teabag.
Teabag's making a comeback. Superhero Teabag, you may remember in our last podcast, we were talking about Teabag, Superhero Teabag, and we said that if anyone can send us a picture of what Teabag would look like, they will get themselves some Deadpool versus Wolverine tickets. Not only has that happened, it has been like... the entry that we've got is off the fucking chain.
It is absolutely amazing. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is that we're going to place an image of Teabag here, which was designed and created by Fraser Varney, who is a dear old friend of mine, actually. I haven't seen her in a very long time. And yeah, well, I mean, look at it. It's incredible. It's incredible.
I mean, when we're saying we're going to place an image here, I don't quite know how you're going to do that. Well, no, you're going to overlay, but for people listening on Spotify, nothing much is going to happen, mate. You're just going to hear Matt go, "Here's a picture," and you're going to be like, stood probably brushing your teeth, thinking, "What?"
This is why it's so difficult to try and cross-pollinate platforms. Oh my! I thank you. I know the words.
Cross-pollinate.
Yeah.
9 o'clock on a Monday night.
Oh,
Matt's
yeah.
coming out with cross-pollination.
Oh, bit of marketing talk there, yeah. A bit of
Right, cross-pollinate across the social medias. If you make yourself too thin and you find that none of them gain traction, if you centre ground on your fixated approximate social media typical shenanigans, you will find that it will unleash such untapped potential.
We're just cross-pollinating around auditory and pictorial platforms across the social media universe.
It's a simple philosophy, if anything. It's a little bit too simple.
Anyway, mate, well done. Thank you for that. We'll be in contact. Forrest, how are you, my dear friend?
I'm good, mate.
Yeah?
I'm good. I'm dandy. We've just come straight off of a live where we've watched the new Agatha teaser trailer, which was funky. It was funky, it was juicy, it was a little bit naughty, and I feel very excited about that. Thank you to anyone who tuned in for that, and yeah. What about yourself, mate? You all right?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good. I'm fully aware that it's absolutely pasting it down with rain, so you're probably hearing lots of rain, dear listener. In a moment, I'm going to put myself on mute. I'm going to try and get some noise cancellation going on the old background noise. But yeah, just that might be happening throughout. This is summer. It's
July. It's July in England, and this is what we get to face with. But I now have in exactly time, I will be leaving the front door to get on a bus, to get on a canny
sounds
ways.
incredible.
It does sound incredible. I have just realised that I'm going to edit that because we're not making it public when we're going and where we're going. So I will edit this slightly, but I'm going abroad at an undesignated time.
Cannot wait for you to bleep that out. Cannot wait.
I'm going to
sound
that.
So sketchy now. It's going to sound... wait, my reaction. Wait, you're going there, Forrest? You're going there? Really? You sure? Wow.
Yeah, we're going to in approximately weeks, and I can't wait.
Mate,
I'm
you're going
so
to be red
excited.
raw.
I'll tell you who was red raw. Was our good friend Jack, aka Huey, in this week's episode of The Boys.
Yeah, he was. Let's roll that intro. Let's go into it. Beautiful segue for us.
We segued with a bit of red rawness into The Boys, episode 6, series 4. We are approaching the end point of this series, Matt. Give me your summary thoughts for this episode.
I don't know what...
Or just yours.
I don't know what to say anymore about this series. And not as in, it's not a bad thing, but just when I thought I could anticipate the shock value, here we go to a certain episode where I think this was actually the first episode in The Boys where I genuinely felt uncomfortable. Genuinely, I had to pause it and take genuine breaks. Oh my god, it was the stuff that happened with Huey. It's the stuff that Web Weaver. What is that? Just above your tailbone, mate. What is that? Also, the masochist that is Tech Knight, I found very strange, and all of that bit, but not forgetting the ending with Firecracker and Homelander, for she provided the titty to Homelander. It was his reaction. It was his reaction, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah, mate. Mixed emotions. Lots of stuff happened, I think. There were some reveals, and there's some confirmed reveals in terms of theories that you've been having for a fair few weeks concerning two characters. I think we missed Frenchie in this episode. I mean, Frenchie turned himself... Yeah, he turned himself in, and we didn't... It was part of the episode, but we didn't see Frenchie, which I think is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to have maybe just a reveal at the end there with Kimiko and Frenchie. But, yeah, lots of things happened, for good, for bad. Don't know if it's the best episode. It certainly is the most shocking. But yeah.
Yes, I can agree with those thoughts and echo those thoughts. I think in many ways we had I would argue, quite a bad episode. Actually, in many ways, I think it was quite an uncentered and ungrounded episode. Did I enjoy it? Yeah, I think I did enjoy it. I think there were some really good bits on it. It does. I feel, like I say, I think it feels quite misguided in places. We're getting to a point now in The Boys where it's feeling slightly like it's lost its mojo, slightly like it's lost its focus, and it quite quickly needs to recover and realise where it's headed. I couldn't tell you where this series is headed, quite frankly, because it's so odd, and Yeah, I just feel like this is episode 6 of an 8-episode series, and most of this episode was about Huey getting tickled by a feather. And Tech Knight's rather weird fascination of the weirdness, and it was it's shocking, it's funny, but is it episode 6 content? I'd probably argue not.
Certainly not. So I think so. We go straight into it. I think we see Huey becoming. Do you know what? Actually, do you know what? I thought there was a bit of a misleading situation here. So we saw Victoria Newman's head blow up. Did we not? Just last week, you threw that.
We did indeed.
Threw that image in my face in the podcast last week, and I was like, "What is going on here?" So basically, there was this lovely little right-wing soiree. That again is such an episode that's so blatantly targeting these groups that do exist in the political sphere. We've just had our election, by the way. We were talking about that last week as well. So here we are. It's a new day. It's a new Labour Day for England, but also the French have escaped the far right. So even more relevant.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so even more relevant to what was happening here in the episode. Again, I don't know whether they deliberately placed this episode at a point where they knew that these elections were going on in 2 separate countries that were very polarizing against kind of different political views from a far right perspective as well. It was very much throwing in jabs at there, but there was this moment where this congressman, whoever they were, a judge, was just mansplaining pregnancy, I think, to Victoria Newman, and she just imagined her head blowing her own head up. Now, obviously, it didn't happen in real life. Now, what I don't mean by the fact it was misleading is the fact that I thought that there was going to be a death there. But does it mean that she can actually blow her own head up? Can she actually do it?
No.
Yeah. That's what I mean. I'm just a bit. Could she do it?
I mean, I suppose even if she could, it doesn't. Yeah, does it really factor in much enough? I suppose she's never going to commit suicide.
So far deep into being very good, being Homelander's, other political sidekick. And what if she goes too far gone and she doesn't see any way back and she just pops her own head? What if it means more than it actually did?
I no. Purely because at Israel, I don't think anyone's dying. We did have a comment in our previous when we just watched Agatha from, I think it was it Spidey who commented on, because unfortunately we can't save the comments because it was alive. I think it was Spidey who commented saying that they thought that A-Train was going to die. They think this is headed towards A-Train dying, which I to be honest, I can kind of agree with. I think he's been sidelined so much in this program that it would make perfect sense for him to be the one that goes. I think ultimately, I would feel quite cheated if A-Train was the only person to die out of this series, just purely on the basis that A-Train is hardly a primary character at this point.
I agree. I totally agree.
It feels like a cop-out. It feels like, okay, cool, we just got rid of a secondary character, but, I
agree that I think this is most likely going to happen. I think we are most likely going to see a quite nice redemption arc from A-Train for the first time, actually feeling like the hero, and Homelander's just going to absolutely pop him to bits. And I feel like that's blatantly going to be on the horizon, but also I agree, I think it's just a bit of a cop-out, because it's like, where are the stakes really? Where are the stakes really? Because let's be honest, everything that's being told in terms of A-Train's narrative and journey, not necessarily has been wrapped up, it's just not in the focal view or integral to what's going on in the actual story. So even when he does die, it's going to be unfortunate, but like it won't have the impact. Say we were just saying a reel went up today about you talking about Billy Butcher dying at the end of the series, right? That would have huge impact, right? That would have huge impacts going into season 5. That's the kind of risk taking we need to see. And I don't think it would affect anything, right? Other than just losing a fantastic actor. Do you know what I mean?
The one thing that we could get, and this would be, yes, they would be slightly secondary character, but they are a loved character enough for it to be a meaningful death. And that would be, and I haven't said this so far, what if French, by the time Frenchie gets released, or by the time Frenchie gets back into the boys, however that happens, Kimiko dies.
No, don't do that. See,
because then we have some really sad scenes there. If Frenchie never gets into the arms of Kimiko because Kimiko's dead.
But how do you kill Kimiko though? Because she's been proven to be pretty indestructible.
The what is it? The Fading Sun or whatever they're called. They're pretty hell-bent. They're pretty hell-bent.
That would devastate me. See Kimiko die, I think. But you're right. If you're killing a secondary character, that's probably the right character to kill because there is an emotional weight to it. Not to say there isn't any emotional weight from A-Train. We just haven't built that kind of sensitivity up. Kimiko's got this. She's built a family with Frenchie. She literally said in the episode, she said, I have nowhere else to go. Writing that down on a piece of paper to the guard. I have nowhere else to go. I need to see him. Blah, blah, blah. He doesn't want visitations. That's breaking her heart. And that level of sensitivity from a relationship standpoint is really key. And you're right. If we saw Frenchie lose her as well, if he sees Kimiko die, that would be a big deal. Big deal.
Huge deal. And we got to get some fired up people in the boys, like we said, Huey's dad's death has got him fired up. We've got Starlight who's fired up given everything that the Psycho's doing, Firecracker's doing. We got Mother's Milk I think would be fired up if Butcher died. We got to get everyone hyped up a bit. Otherwise, we are nowhere near the fight off between the boys and Homelander. At the moment, we're like, they're a little bit pissed off, but they always have been. There needs to be some deaths that really matter in order to really drive the boys into going right. It's Hammer time. Which, by the way, Hammer time. Lewis Hamilton, big shout out to Lewis Hamilton for winning the Silverstone GP. But moving on,
I love
that. The boys, insane. I think we need a death in there. Mother's Milk, Sage in this episode. When he kills Sage, but Sage doesn't quite die, and then we see Sage's brain. She goes into madness territory.
She basically experiences brain damage whilst being shot in the head. Now, the other thing is that I thought, oh my god, they've killed off Sage. Brilliant. Literally in that moment, boom, she got shot in the head. Boom, okay, great. We've made a choice.
Fantastic.
Okay, cool. We've made a choice because really, Sage is the puppet master right now in this whole thing. So Sage does die. What does Homelander do? Where does the Seven go? And the fact that we've got this thread being played through in the series, in the seasons, where Homelander's relying on other people and they're just letting him down time and time again. And boom, we could have had that right there. She's died. Great. Well, now what do I do? So, and it gives him more authority to be even more unhinged as well and not to plan ahead. But no, for some reason, it didn't. I'm assuming the bullet is still inside. We didn't really see the bullet come out of the head, so it's stuck in there, just kind of leaning into something in her brain that's kind of nullifying her a little bit. I thought it was quite nice. I thought it was quite funny seeing her just go straight for the cake and stuff in the thing, and not intervening while Homelander's being pressed. I really enjoyed that moment when Homelander was being questioned, like, yeah, what are you going to do about defense systems? Yeah, what are you going to do about healthcare? What are you going to do about this? Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, man. It's like, great, because, of course, Homelander is instinctive. Homelander doesn't think that far ahead. He hasn't come up with policies. He doesn't know what he doesn't care about those. He's a superhuman. He doesn't care about it. And then when we see that kind of vulnerability play through, I thought we were going to see another him imagining he's like zapping everybody and killing them like he did at the end of season 3. I thought we were going to see that. But then Victoria, steps up and then starts talking about stuff. But so maybe there will be a weird relationship of sorts. I'm not talking about sexual relationship. I'm just talking about kind of like how they're going to play their parts as Victoria Newman, keeping Homelander close. Maybe keeping him closer is better than keeping him far away in terms of danger and threat. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But mate, I want to know about Web Weaver. What did you think about that first bit when he came? When he was so Web Weaver is effectively the boys' equivalent to Spider-Man, and in the
red, yeah, and he was just stood in the corner for the whole.
Yeah, in the way he put his trousers down, didn't he? And Mother's Milk put the thing up the butt, but then he accidentally he didn't put it up the butt. He put it in the Web Weaver mouth, and he got farted.
Yes.
And it was a literal fart sound that came out and it spat out a little web. Mate, I honestly, it made me feel fucking physically sick.
Yeah, that was pretty. I've got to say that was pretty minging. That was pretty. Wait, what was the? So who's the guy I'm thinking of? Who was in the red in the corner of the torture room? He just stood there.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, we don't know who he is.
Tech Night scenes. No, he just stood there randomly for the whole thing. Yeah, sorry, that's who I thought. Yeah, no, this guy at the beginning with Mother's. Oh my god, that was. I think. Yeah, that's
rough.
I get, I don't mind the grotesque thing. That's the whole point of The Boys, and it does it so well. But they've got to be careful and not we're not just getting into we're just gonna go mental for the sake of it. I quite like it. I want this is what I said at the beginning. Things need to be more grounded now. Stop for God's sake, the reason why series 1, 2, maybe 3 were so good is because it was rooted in what is the plot, what are you trying to tell. At the moment, I in all honesty, man, I really couldn't tell you what they're trying to tell. They're just giving us a variety, and they've done it all series. They just keep giving us a random bunch of scenes that half make sense, as a single whole. But storytelling is not great. I've got to be honest. It's a bit. Yeah. However, one thing that could save it, I have another theory. Before we talk about the theory that I was right about, I have another theory, and this one is. I haven't seen anywhere else. This is
right. Before we go into this theory, I just want to congratulate you for. So far, being 1-1 for your theories on The Boys for season 4, mate. You have smashed it. I don't know what it is. Are you a guru? Are you the oracle? Do you have the answers? We'll wait and see. But let's listen to this next theory. I'm ready.
I think that Firecracker isn't the original Firecracker at the end of this episode. Annie injects Firecracker. After that scene, we then get the breast milk scene, and then we get a very, very similar scene between Firecracker and Homelander towards the end of the episode, which I would argue is very, very similar to Stormfront and Homelander and the beginning of that relationship. I think there is a potential doppelganger, something is happening. I don't think that is actually Firecracker inside that body. Because we have an injection scene between Annie, and then we have nothing after. The first thing we see of Firecracker after that is she's totally normal, totally like just starts talking to Homelander, everything's standard. The only person who tells us that anything is but that is Sage, right? Who tells Homelander who she's seen, who she's not seen. I think this is part of a wider plan that Annie's had, Huey has had, and I think they're infiltrating the Seven with a artificial firecracker.
Whoa. Okay, so. Right, last week you and I were talking about Doppelganger potentially being in that episode 5, but I can't remember why and who and what. We have mentioned... I know that Doppelganger is dead, right? So we all know that. But there are definite hints that there is some potentially a doubling up of certain people. So, but maybe the other thing is like the fact that. So this is why I'm a little bit sus at that ending as much as you are. So on that bit with the fact she goes like, yeah, no, I took these pills and now I have breast milk and it enlarges my heart a little bit, but I did this for you over a certain amount of time, which then indicates that she's been doing this medication for the sake of just getting towards Homelander. So the other thing is that she has to know the information, the fact that the old Homelander loves a bit of the booby milk. All right. So how does she know that information? She knows that she's kind of like one of those, internal YouTube far right journalists. Okay, cool. So we can justify that. The other thing is that I don't really buy that. I just don't buy it happening like that. I don't know. I feel like there's something else going on there. I think maybe it would have been better if she just said, I have a kid.
Yes.
I think
So
there's something else going on with
two
Firecracker,
things.
because we were getting some weird scenes with her where she was having the reactions, where she was getting kind of like forced out of social situations in the far right soiree thing. She was at the mirror. She was doing that whole Sydney Sweeney Euphoria meme where she's smiling at the mirror and crying. There's old bullying, obviously from Starlight in there, but I think she's protecting something.
There's two bits in the breast milk scene that we're on about. One, and second point, I'm gonna potentially make myself stupid to ask a question I actually don't know the answer of. So first comment is, the last time we see Homelander with a woman who produces milk in front of him is his old flame, Madeline Stillwell, who then comes back as Doppelganger. So that's the link for me. The last time we've seen this kind of thing. Number two, here we go. This is a question and a half. Women who have abortions but were having a baby, at what point in the pregnancy can you start to deliver milk? Because we know Annie had an abortion.
Yeah.
So if there is some... It just strikes me as very weird that Annie injects Firecracker, and then from that moment on, we have some severely odd scenes with Firecracker. And I don't know if there's some doppelganger, Annie's got some weird powers she didn't know she had, where she can like infiltrate other people's body, like some bizarre stuff. Because that scene on its own is pregnancy relates to Annie, in which case, she was absolutely fucking over Starlight like no tomorrow about this whole abortion, etc. For her to now reveal that there's some kind of thing there, right? And then also Madeline Stillwell doppelganger references. So it all feels a little bit like that's territory that we're about to dive into.
So
that's all I'm saying.
Okay, I need to use my fatherly knowledge here about breastfeeding. So Rachel, if I'm right, I want you to pat me on the back later. All right, if I'm not, please. And again, please correct me. So I think so between it's between like the weeks of like 16 and like 20 something that you start producing milk. That you start off with colostrum, which is like a yellowy type, like transparent texture, and then it goes into like milk. Now that's that's kind of going into your second trimester, right? So in terms of like abortion, I don't know, but it depends on your hormones levels as well. So it depends on how low your estrogen levels are, and that type of thing. So you could also there is a thing where you can lactate without being pregnant as well. So I don't know how far the boys are going to go into it, but like there could be something like that. But again, we're not the right people. We're not the people to talk about it.
And what was what was Firecracker's reason again for being able to produce milk? Is it she's had a job?
She hasn't alluded to that.
No,
and going back to my theories, I think she's protecting something like a child from anybody finding out. I think the reason why she's trying to get into this evidence is to protect, to get the clout, to get the fame, to get the money, to get the brand, to protect something else that's happening on a personal level, which I think it might be a child, because then it will explain the breastfeeding. But I don't know. Let's look it up. Can you take drugs?
This has gone incredibly scientific at this moment. But I do think, having looking back at my notes, the only thing I have reread it, and it says that Firecracker tells Homelander that Annie was at the party. So I do realise I got that a bit wrong earlier. Still, I feel like something is amiss there.
It's basically just saying that through a drug hormones therapy, it can in theory happen. But also men can lactate as well. Men can actually technically breastfeed. Apparently, and this is what Rachel told me, is that if you do hormone therapy around it, apparently. Oh. There we go. Shall we move on?
Every day's a school day. Shall
we move on?
I feel like, yeah. Before you started, shooting some milk in my face, I think.
By the way, okay. So I've got to stick it to it because it just came to my head. So earlier this afternoon, Forrest, dear listener, I was at Sports Day, and it was Haley's Sports Day, and next to me were two guys explaining the latest episode of The Boys, and the guy trying to explain to this other guy what happened at the end with the lactation and stuff without doing it in a way that's so obvious, and trying to do it as discreetly as possible. I was just standing there going, this is hilarious. He tried to do the hand gestures and everything. I was like, oh wow, okay, cool. All right, there we go.
There is one bit of this episode that really confuses me, and it's after there's the whole series of events at Tech Knight's place. So part of what happens at the beginning is there's a load of trackers set up around the house. So there's little black devices that are clearly recording what's going on. Now, I don't know about you, but it either there is a bit of a time jump in this episode, or it is edited horrendously, because we go from these scenes in the house. As far as I can see, I've only watched this once. Maybe we'll watch it again, I'll understand it. We go straight from the house to a scene with Homelander revealing that about the leak, about information that's been leaked. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute, where's the in between? We haven't they're talking in the house, and then we go immediately to Homelander's and he's talking about a leak, about people leaking what's been said. So unless I'm wrong in thinking he's talking about something else that's been leaked, like that must be a time jump because it didn't happen 5 minutes. Like he's not left the mansion for them to then find out it's been leaked straight away.
Maybe
surely
there was something that was put into the cutting room floor there, mate. Because I didn't notice it that much. I didn't notice the time jump, but maybe it must have been. It must have been.
Because it's when Homelander's it must be just before Firecracker comes into the place, I think. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot in this episode.
Yeah,
there's a hell of a lot in this episode. I put Butcher, it seems like he's definitely dead in this episode. He's definitely he's not having a good time. The theory with Joe was absolutely a figment of his imagination. We got Angel and the Devil. We got Becca.
It's giving me Gollum vibes, mate. I mean, talking about Carl Urban, rearing back his old past and being in Lord of the Rings and stuff. He's getting his own Gollum moment, mate. He
is. It's it was very well done. It was quite nice to see Butcher almost kind of I don't know, disintegrate in front of our eyes. So, because I thought when we were going to get the reveal, I thought it was going to be more about Samir or whoever else saw it happen. I thought we were going to get more of their reaction. But what I thought was really nice is we actually got Butcher's reaction to his mind, fucking up, basically. And I thought that was really good. And Cole played that fantastically as well. I think Cole's acting, by the way, in this series,
it's great.
Amazing.
I mean, what a thing to sort of play as well in terms of the characters' conflict and stuff. But in that scene as well, I thought they all did a really good job. But again, Jeffrey Dean Morgan just absolutely smashing it. There was a bit where he just did the Negan smile, and I was like, there he is. There's Negan. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It was just, you could see he was having fun with the scene. You could see Jeffrey Dean Morgan's just absolutely giving it. I want to see more. I don't want to see Joe Kessler go away at all, but I think we're going to. Whether they don't kill him off, maybe they won't. I mean, they're probably most likely not going to kill off Butcher. So we'll probably see more of this kind of good versus evil in his head get played out a little bit more in season 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm interested in Samir. So Samir's saying he can't make the virus.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, I had to mute myself there because I just absolutely yawned. That was a huge yawn.
We're nearly done.
I'm awake.
Nearly bedtime for you, mate.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm awake, mate. I'm awake. Yeah, we did. Yeah, Samir couldn't make their drug, and I'm trying to think of the reason.
I can tell
why.
you, I remember. We've
thank
welcome, mate. So you watched this on Thursday, didn't you? Friday? Yeah.
Yeah, I watched this quite early doors. To be fair, yeah. Oh, okay.
I love that. Oh, okay.
Nice to see you got your brief. That's all right, mate. Yeah, it didn't make me look like a mug because I watched it days ago. Can't remember a fucking thing. Actually, Forrest, in scene 3, I think you'll find that Homelander says, "I do believe, not I don't believe." Okay, thank you. Yes.
So the issue we've got with Samir doing the work is because he doesn't have the time. They can't produce this kind of thing in that amount of time, but also the fact that they haven't figured out a way of killing Homelander with this drug. If they do, the only way that they can think of they can do it is making it so lethal that it is airborne and it becomes deadly.
Yes,
deadly
I do remember this now.
To every single soup, and also those people that have had Compound V, so that I would say that even stretches to those that have had Temp V as well in them, that would then kill them off almost not instantaneously, but pretty damn quickly and pretty horrendously as well. Which then Joe Kessler then comments and says, "Another pandemic, fucking great," and laughs, which I thought was quite nice. Yeah, do you think they'll do it? Because again, the boys also do a lot about reflecting about what happens in the real world, right? So we've got all these far-right groups that are now being like, yeah, we're fucking talking about you, by the way. Catch up. Yeah, you've been noticed. Are they going to now go into a pandemic? Are we going to see a soup pandemic play out in season 5? I hope not, because it's like, nah, that's not really what we're looking for. But maybe they do.
It's a shame because we know that there's going to be a Gen V Series 2, because what would have been the only way I could have seen that playing out is that we currently have 4 or 5 Gen V characters stuck in that unit, and that would have been cool. Imagine that, like this all kicks off. There's death everywhere. Like Homelander, or like maybe Homelander survives as the only soup left in the world, and then they're like, oh my god, and then soup goes on some. Then Homelander goes on some kind of like Hitler-esque, like, you know, I'm the only survivor. I'm just gonna kill everybody. And then they're like, whoa, you forgot about these 4 people that were tucked away. That would have been that would be an incredible episode, to be fair, to have these 4 just walking down like, yeah, we're getting it.
We need to see Marie Mordu. We need to see Emma Mayer. We saw Sam and Kate briefly last episode. Jordan
for like
Lee,
2 seconds.
All of these characters coming through to play into the main arc of the boys. It's got to happen, and we've said it. We've said it a few weeks now. Now is the time to do it. I think we'll probably get this at the last episode, and I'm just kind of I'm going to keep saying it until we get to it, and pray that we do get to it. Dear listener, I'd be really interested to get your views on this. Actually, do you think we're going to see Gen V characters, more Gen V characters, the main ones, come into the later episodes to play into the main story arc that then leads into the next series of Gen V? Let us know. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. I thought Marie Mordu was actually a really interesting character, and again, her soup powers, the fact that she can control blood, and all of that is insane. So and the other thing is that, mate, in all fairness, this season we've barely really seen any kind of like soup powers being played through by these.
No, literally, apart from the first episode with Victoria Newman's daughter, we barely seen any of it. It's been very quiet on the superpowers. But I suppose because we got a series of Gen V, that's kind of what Gen V was about, is to show us like the variety and diversity in regards to soups and their powers. But yeah, I'm intrigued. What happens for the next 2 episodes? I like this episode. I don't really feel like there's much more to talk about it, to be quite honest. I think we've kind of summarised everything. What I would like to suggest, a little bit of admin on the podcast, Matt, is that potentially we wrap up this version, this audio Spotify, for all the people out there listening, in whatever Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you might be listening to, and then we've got a little 5-minute extension, because we could do a YouTube extension, because they've just released a teaser for this week's episode.
I've done that, have they?
They have indeed, on a little Twitter sphere. So we could do what we've just done with Agatha
Look at all this little cross-pollination we're doing on the old platforms there for us. So, dear listeners, so basically that means if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, I think you should probably go and do it. You know, it'd be really good to see you there, because it's a really nice little platform. You know, I think Forrest has dabbled in YouTube. I've definitely dabbled in the old YouTube in the past a little bit as well. So, you know, it's quite comfy over there. So do come down. We've got lots of fun videos and stuff, you know, little shorts here and there, you know, some long form, some short form, you know, just check it out, you know. Subscribe to us at Don't Be a Hero Podcast on the YouTube.
Yeah, Matt's been quite humble there, because when he says he's dabbled in YouTube, he's been a big dog on YouTube. Hardly. You've been to conventions, people have noticed you in public.
Yes, it's just, you're talking about 10 years ago.
You were massive, Matt, mate. I know, but he was Mr. Big Dog on YouTube, mate. He was walking around. People were like, "Oh my god, it's a Matt!" And he was like, "Yeah. This is me. You know, Yeah. Just back to Lego store days.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah, I used to work at Lego. It's great.
There you go.
That was a very, very long. YouTube was a very different time back then. But yeah, do give us a little follow there. Subscribe to us, but also more importantly, dear listener, we would really, really appreciate if you gave us a review on whatever listening platform you're on right now. If you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Podcasts, if you've got both, it won't take 30 seconds just to give us a 5-star review, give us a little comment. It goes so far. For some reason, the algorithms of the podcast world only really pick out the good podcast, and this is a good podcast. This is a great podcast. You're part of it. It'd be great to sort of get you just shouting about it. It really will mean a lot. We've got some awesome things to announce coming up soon. One of which we've got a really exciting interview episode that will be coming out soon. We will reveal who that is next Wednesday's episode. And also we will be reviewing a little thing that we might be doing in September, which will be coming out and being revealed very, very soon. So there's still lots and lots of things to sort of keep listening out for. So make sure you follow us everywhere on the cross-pollination of the socials.
Cross-pollination of the nation. Yes, thank you very much. And if you are listening on audio channels such as Spotify and Apple Music, ta-ra for now. And we shall see you on the YouTube Don't Be a Hero podcast on YouTube, where you can watch the teaser for this week's episode. So, ciao for now.